It's The Session. I'm your host, Michelle Nicole Charles, and I have my lovely co-host with me, Ari. What's up, Ari?
What's going on, Michelle? Just living my best life.
Yes.
Did you just say that? Where did I get that?
Yep.
You just said that. Okay.
And we have Stacy Ike, a.k.a. One Takes
Hey.
Stacy in the building.
Hey.
So excited. This is a really dope building to be in, so I'm really happy. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes. Thank you for coming through.
course,
So tell me, how you doing? How you feeling?
Feeling great. You know, we've got 40 something days before the end of the year.
Wow.
You know, we're trying to make sure this fourth quarter makes sense, and we're trying to kill it before we leave it. And also taking notes of the success, the good, the bad, the ugly. So feeling good, feeling like, okay, it's time to tie some loose ends, cross some T's, dot some I's, and then see what 2018 has to hold. So I've been in that mood for a while.
So how was 2017 treating you so far?
Oh my God. You know how they say book busy and blessed, and you're like, stop it. No, like it's legit.
Booked and busy.
Booked, busy, and blessed. You know, it's been one of those years, and it's been such a testimony because I feel like I moved to Los Angeles in 2014, so you just want to keep building on top of where you started, and so.
Where are you originally from?
Houston, Texas.
Houston.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so I had moved here 2014, actually from Australia because I was living there for a while, and I was like, oh, I'll start my career there, and that was really fun, but it was a smaller market.
What made you want to go to Australia and start your career there?
I just wanted to be the black girl who made it. I was like, why not? That's what they talk about. Like, what do you mean? Go make it. Like, what? So I just, and I'm a huge fan of Australia in general. Like, I didn't know anything about it except the fact that one of my favorite churches, Hillsong, is there. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but Hillsong was there. And I was like, I just want to be around Hillsong, and I want to get God in my life, and I just want to be free, and Nicole Kidman can do it, and come here. Like, I was just, whatever. So I did that for a while, and it was really great. But came back to America and ended up moving to Los Angeles. And so anyway, you've just been building on 2014, 2015. You're trying to track your progress and what that looks like. And so being in 2017, like everything I did, every fight, every trial, every tribulation, every moment that didn't make any sense, any doubt, all of that, like 2017 really expanded like my heart and my goals and what God had in store. Like it's just been a year of expansion, honestly, and so grateful. Of course, the more you expand, the bigger your problems get.
Right.
They start becoming champagne problems, to be honest. And I only want champagne problems. You know what I'm saying? Like
I did not order this.
Like I only want champagne problems. That is the goal. So you want to work so hard that your problems are so much different than they got the last year, or the things that you worry about are different than you did last year. That's how you know you're growing. So it's just been a crazy year of like, ooh, this is different. This is dope. This is fun. This is exciting. So I'm like 2018. What do you have?
Right.
Come for it. So yeah, it's been good.
That's awesome. What lessons did you learn in 2017 that made you grow into a better person? Or
That's a good question.
Fear is normal. Faith is better.
Damn.
Girl, because every new level this year, like people. Somebody called me fearless a couple weeks ago, and I like laughed really loud, and I realized that was kind of rude, because they were probably they were being nice.
They were really serious.
But I was like, oh, like I'm not fearless. I'm faithful, but I'm not fearless, and that comes with just knowing that like we make mistakes, and the bigger we dream, the more mistakes we probably make, which is also means you're going towards the right way, because you should be making mistakes on the regular, because that means you are constantly going somewhere crazy that you've never been. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that is something I didn't even know about, not only myself, but just what the journey held, like what it looked like to be that ambitious and to be that crazy forward and wanting to constantly think about the big idea and the big picture and things like that. So one of the biggest lessons was just knowing that fear is super normal.
Yeah.
And like, you just can't let it cripple you, and what that looked like, and what the process of, everyone has to figure out their version of not crippling.
Right.
If it's, I have to binge watch a show for a weekend and then I'm back on it, that's your thing. If I have to talk to God for 2 hours, that's your thing. Everyone needs to be okay with knowing like it doesn't look the same from everybody.
Right.
And you have to be willing to spend time with yourself to find out what your thing is.
Right.
And so that was one of the biggest lessons. Another one was just not being afraid to be the first, and not being afraid to be the 10th. Because just because somebody did it 1 through 9 times more than you did, it doesn't mean that you've never done it. So it totally looks different when you do it. And there's a lot of things that I did this year, or that my team and I did together, and I would say mostly that, because I have one of the most incredible teams that supports me and backs me up in a lot of this crazy, which means that they're a little crazy too. And there were some things that I would say, I'm like, guys, like, can we really do that? I mean, someone's done it before and they're like, oh, well, did you do it?
Right.
Oh, okay. And you'd be like, you're being rude. But that's why they're on the team.
It's real though, because like, I'm not gonna lie, like I was researching a couple of other women empowerment shows and I was just like, oh my goodness.
Of course.
Like,
yeah.
Oh man, like I'm not saying I wanted to compete with them or anything like that, but I was just like, how can I stand out?
Sure.
And I was talking to my boyfriend and I was like, babe, like look, Complex Hustle came out with a Complex Woman Hustle and it's kind of the same idea that I'm doing. He goes, guess what? You are you.
Yeah.
No one can be you.
Right.
No one can do it how you are doing it. So don't even worry about that. And I was just like, you're right.
Like I'm sitting on your show feeling so different than the show I sat on last week. None of us are necessarily reinventing the wheel in some of the efforts that we're doing, but the wheel is very specific to people and the audience that follows each person is so different.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And like, I think if we were so much more open to the fact that, this whole be different thing or like, how do I stand out? It's cool. It makes sense. I think we were very wired to feel that way, especially like in school. And it's like, this is how to stand out and here's the resume. But stop worrying about how to be different and how to be you.
Exactly. Be yourself.
Be you. There you go. That's like, I would love if we just understood that the only way to be different is to be yourself. Because every time you try to emulate somebody else's whatever, then that's you lost your authenticity. You lost who you are. You lost what we love about you. What I love about being with you ladies right now versus, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll do another interview next week and I'll feel completely different.
Right.
So I just think that that was, oh my God, such a big lesson for me. Just remembering that you bring you to the table. Everything else is you structuring and learning and growing your skills. But at the end of the day, it's you that's coming to the table.
Absolutely. And sometimes I do get lost in trying to be not someone else, but I do be like, oh, okay, this is the way Oprah does it. So let me try to talk like Oprah. You know what I'm saying?
Girl.
So, because you're trying to perfect your craft.
Sure.
But you got to keep it in your mind, like be you. Like, did you go through that? Like when you first started hosting, were you like totally someone else besides yourself? Or you just came in the game like, this is me, this is who I am, hate it or love it kind of situation?
I think when I came into hosting, I was definitely hate it or love it. I think when I came into journalism, I was somebody else.
Yeah.
Because when I studied at University of Missouri, which is the #1 school, fight me if you want to. No, I'm kidding. I can't fight, don't fight me. But I went to University of Missouri and their journalism school and program is incredible.
Wow.
It is so structured and developmental, like so much personal development that goes into it and just so much like structural development. But when you start getting to the space that you have a platform, which we all have to work at the news station within the city at Columbia, Missouri. And so, you've never had this experience before. You've done it in high school, you've played around with your parents and you've made funny things, skits for your friends, but now you're on this show and it is airing in the city. So you wear your blazer with the matching colors and you put your hair in a really dope back bun and you have the pearls to show it. And oh, girl, I was playing myself. Y'all don't understand how many blazers I owned. I actually have a picture. I don't even know where the picture is.
Of
it is
all of your blazers
all my
lined up,
blazers.
yes.
Listen, I look good in a blazer. I love blazers, but the way I used to wear them is not the way I wear them now.
Too many.
I used to wear them like, now I'm serious. And, good morning. We're here live at the scene, and it's actually. I used to talk like that all the time.
Wow, yeah.
And I can do the voice so much, and it's not to make fun of that voice or anything because that voice has a platform, has a place, and I have a lot of friends who are such good journalists, and and I don't consider myself not a journalist, but I do fall more into the content creation space now and into the hosting space where there's a little bit more opinion. And so when I started allowing my opinion to shine through and be myself, I was like, oh dang, I'm probably not a journalist. Like it was such a hard moment. And I remember talking to my news director about it, who's still so supportive to this day, Stacy Ike, shout out to him, and so many other people in my life. But I remember talking to him about it and being like, so I think I want to move to LA. I don't think I'm this girl. I don't think I'm the journalism girl. I think I'm somebody else. And he was like, yeah, I think that's probably true. You don't really do what we ask. So, and you're like, oh, dang. And they found out. They know. And so when I moved here, I remember even talking to him about it maybe 2 years into living here. And I was like, somebody told me I should move back to journalism and try to go back to that route because it was hard. You're still trying to find your foot. Yeah. And he was like, you've already put in the work here. Stay here. Stay in LA and keep doing it because now you're finding the footing of who you are. And I was like, dang, and I had so many, my parents were supportive about that too. They were nervous at a lot of points as well because they were like, but journalism makes so much sense what you're doing. Like, we don't even know what that means. I'm like, me neither. So I need y'all to just be a part of it. Right. None of us really know. Ooh, the day he dropped me off. I know. My dad was like, what are you doing? I'm like, hold on 1 second. I'll let you know. Hold on 1 second.
Let me call you back.
I'll be right back. Right. Just drop me at the airport. I'm going to get on the flight. Just right back, though. I'm going to tell you. So, yeah, like, you don't know. And there were definitely moments that, and you still, even perfecting your craft, just like you said, as you're studying, you are studying other hosts and other journalists. But you're studying, you're learning, and then you're deleting and remembering who you are all the time. That's literally how I started coming into my own. I'm still doing that. It's still a process. So yeah, that was kind of the gist.
I think that's great. I have a question.
Yeah.
So the whole being yourself thing, which is so big in 2017, you know, you've got everybody, but there's almost this dichotomy to what about the, 19-year-old girl that doesn't know who she is yet?
Yes.
And everybody's saying, just be yourself. She's like,
I don't
know.
To ask you.
Right.
Who that is. Yeah.
So how would you advise younger, middle school, high school, college? College is a very weird time.
It is.
For the people that keep hearing, just be you. And they say, well, I don't really know how I want to dress, what I really think, what I want to do. Who should I follow?
Wow, that is an incredible question. I wonder if I even knew then, like, how to answer that. I mean, I think now I don't have the answer. I'll just say my answer is probably taking the time to find out by yourself.
Yeah.
Because if someone says be yourself and you're like, okay, cool, but they're your best friend and you hang out with them all the time, blah, blah, and you start realizing you're being yourself as being whoever they say you should be, you have to be so intentional about taking time for yourself to find who you are. And somebody said this to me like a while ago. They always said, be yourself to yourself. Everybody else is a game. And I used to be like, what does that mean? And I still honestly, I don't necessarily fully know what that means, but I think the beginning of it and the gist of it is like, always be yourself to yourself. And that means finding out all the time and being willing to edit. You know what I'm saying? Like the biggest masterpiece is ourselves. And the more work we put into the masterpiece that we are, everybody else benefits. Because I always think that like our skills and our spirits and our talents in this world are not given to us by God for just us.
Right.
They're always given to us for other people. And so even in the space that I'm in, I'm like, God, I thank you so much for all these gifts, but I know that you want me to do something about it and with people and for people. But the only way I can be successful with that is if I continue to take time to mess up myself, to edit, to learn, to not be egotistic when it comes to mistakes, when it comes to things that we realize, oh, I actually didn't really like that. Sometimes you have to fail. And sometimes you have to, I always say that you never fail backwards. You always fail forward. You always fail forward.
Will Smith said that.
You know what I'm saying? Like you always fail forward. And so, oh my God, like having even a Will Smith say that, like, can you imagine how many times he's probably had to fail to get to who he is? Right. And he probably thinks like, I'm not where I am. I'm still trying to get somewhere. I have parents who are so intentional about like their self-growth and who they are. And I remember talking to my dad about something. I was like, Dad, like being an adult is like so hard. Like there's so many things I don't know yet. And he started laughing. He's like, I'm in my 50s and I don't know everything. Like who told you in your 20s you get to know everything? Like who told you that was your privilege? So I was like, whoa, like this is that kind of journey. So even with somebody who's 19, who's 14, who's 15, there's so much distractions. And honestly, I think we have a different generation than people in school now, and I feel for them and I love on them and I pray out for them because I have older siblings. I'm the oldest of my siblings, and so I watch my 14-year-old sister and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, why do you even know about that?
Right.
And so that's hard, and there's no easy answer, but I think it's all about like, it first starts with like, what's in here, what's innately in you that no one else has to advise you on or tell you about. The decisions. We always need somebody, we don't always, but sometimes we look for people to co-sign on things that we already know, but what's in you? And everybody doesn't have amazing parental relationships, so I hate to say like, what do your parents feed you and that kind of thing, but the environment you grow up in is extremely important too, and who you let in. So just being conscious of like, if this woman or this man sets an image or a tone that doesn't really fit well with my spirit, because we all have our conscience, we all have our spirit, be okay with the fact that like, this is not what makes sense for me. It doesn't matter if all your friends are into it. That's not you. You have to be okay with what's not you. And this is something that really helped me when I was living in LA. I had to find what I didn't want to finally get to what I did want. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't actually know what I wanted to do wholeheartedly. I knew I had a couple of dreams and a couple of passions and a vision, but you don't know what that looks like. And so I had to say no to a couple jobs. I had to push back on a few things. I had to leave a couple opportunities to find, oh my God, this is where I belong.
Right.
So I think at 19, listen, you probably don't know.
Straight up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You don't know. So let's take the time to figure it out.
Straight up.
Let's take time to figure it out.
I agree with her 100%. I agree with you, Stacy, because I agree with you. I feel like when you're that age, you're still trying to figure what you want, out of life. So I was just telling Ari, I was just having a conversation with Ari, and I was like, you just have to try different things out. Okay, this is for me, this is not for me. I like that. Let me combine this with that. You know what I'm saying? It's just experience.
It's trial and error.
Trial and error.
And it's faith. Like, for me, I hope that when I talk about that message, people understand, like, it's not about like, oh, she's got religion, so it's this, but for me, I can't survive without faith, because faith is trusting somebody else, and not faith is trusting me. And I don't trust me. I don't trust me at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am broken. I still have a lot of things to work out. I'm still learning how to be the woman I want to be. I'm still growing to be like, and the person I am this year, so much bomber than she was in 2015, 2014, 2009.
Wow.
Like,
Evolve.
You evolve. And so you have to be open to that. So I think that's a big thing too. Faith in yourself as well, but faith in like a higher purpose. For me, is Jesus. Like, I need to know that he's got my back. He's leading this train. Right. And once I tapped into that, I'm like, cool, like, chill out. You're still making mistakes. You're still learning. You're still growing. And so that's a big thing too, but you just don't know. Yeah. And I'm scared because I kind of figure out, I kind of feel like we won't figure it out till we die. Is that weird?
Yeah, I don't think we ever.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I think you get more confident at the decisions you make.
Right. Yes.
And less asking for less validation and confirmation. But I would highly doubt if we're going to be, 72-year-old women like, I got everything good.
I figured it all out.
Right.
No.
That was
new problems, new things. People die. Like,
absolutely.
This is it. Like Michael Jackson. This is it. This is the whole thing.
That's the journey, and that is the journey right there. So yeah.
So if you fight it, it's a very, very tough battle, and I'm sure you would attest to that.
Absolutely.
I'm sure all of us would. That's why the only way that we're seeing people thrive is just accepting the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. Because the minute that you're fearful of what could happen, like, the only constant thing is things coming up left and right. You could never, imagine.
Absolutely. You can't dodge the problem. You just have to decide how you react to the problem, what problems are actually a real problem, and what problems are not. I'm reading a book about stuff like that too, where, by Ryan Holiday and Mark Manson. And they've just been teaching me, like, everything isn't a problem. And you have to decide, like, what struggles are you willing to struggle for? And what is something you're willing to put your mind to? Like, it's just a journey. Like, we're going to keep elaborating on it, and everybody you're going to hear across the world in this space. I love how you said, like, 2017, it's a big thing, be yourself. It is. Especially, I think social media plays a big part in that too.
It does. 100%.
It's like, you wake up and it's like, do you? And you're like, okay. Like, I just woke up. Like, dang, I just really, all right. It's just like, it's so much, which is why, like, I started this First 30 challenge this month, where the first 30 minutes of my day, I wake up and I pray, I stretch, and I read.
Wow, that is so cool.
I love that.
Michelle, can we do that? Can we hold each other accountable?
Come on, join the challenge, y'all. I'm serious.
I'm very down. I need
serious.
that.
Please, like,
I'm on Instagram.
Send me
your
emails, and I'll send you because I've been sending out like MailChimp emails and just kind of keeping. I have a First 30 Instagram group, and so we all chime in and we talk with each other.
Amazing.
And like, what are we reading? What are you praying about today? And everybody doesn't have the same beliefs, and it's not about that specifically, but it's just like centering yourself before you get into the mix. There's so much in the mix. It's, you wake up to, you got so many things saved and screenshot on your phone if you're like me. It's like, be yourself, do you, live life. Did he say, and you be like,
did he say?
I don't even know what's going on. I'm just going to pause. I'm going to pause on all this.
Right.
And I'm going to go back to what I was going to do before I woke up and got on Instagram. Because, you woke up with a plan and then you got on here and they were like, fight back. And you're like, damn, should I call my friend back? You don't even know what to do. Right. So I just didn't like that distraction anymore. Like, I decided, okay, I want to be a part of just centering and learning and reading, taking a second, meditating, stretching my body out, and then getting ready for the day.
I think that's brilliant and necessary.
Ooh, beyond necessary. Because I was just so caught up in random stuff. And it's not even negative stuff. Like, I don't think Instagram is negative. I don't think social media is negative. I think, or it can be, of course, but I think there's a lot of positive to it. Yeah. But I just think that we have to remember what our vision is before we tap into everybody else's.
You get lost.
Yeah. You don't want to get lost. It's just, I don't even look cute. I don't know what the shoes are. I don't like that.
So I have to ask. Can I ask you a question? I have to ask. So are you single?
Oh my God. Yeah.
You are. I'm hearing you talk, and I feel very like I don't know. Do you girls ever get a vibe when you know someone's like really, really like Michelle's the opposite, but I know some women that like they're just all about their boyfriend, and within speaking to them, it's like you can like I've had we're gonna one someone keeping up with you, two.
There's somebody for everybody out there, honey. Somebody will keep up with her. Trust me. It took me. I just got in a relationship, so don't get it twisted. I've been single for 7 years, and I'm still trying to.
A good one.
I'm still trying to get used to it.
The fact that
that I'm not single anymore.
It's like, I gotta tell you about my day, my whole day. Not just like
this
morning.
Not just part of it, the whole thing.
You want to know about everything. Right. Yeah, that's interesting. But no, go ahead. So you were.
Yeah, so I'm just curious. So you're single.
Yeah, I think that's so funny that you said it based on the energy thing, because it is, I do have like a lot of guy friends who will be like, Stace, like, dang, like, man, I would love to, but you just be so, like, you doing it. I'm like, what? Does that mean you don't want a guy who's not doing, a girl who's not doing it?
Yeah, too busy, like, too much of a hustler.
Too busy, too hustler, I don't believe in it, and I tell them.
I'm about to say that right now. Listen, I'm not stopping nothing for nobody. You hear me? If you're not supporting me, you're not going to be in my life. Simple as that.
Bottom line.
Straight up.
Yeah, and so, like, I mean, I've dated a couple people that are, like, incredible humans and very, very into the work. I think it's all about timing for one, and it's all about God's plan for the second. So actually that's first, so switch those. But for me, it's like, I have a lot of great friends in this industry. I have a lot of, there's a lot of good guy friends that I pay attention to the way that they treat their career and they treat their, relationships in relation to their career. And one thing that, I don't think this is the truth about every woman at all, but I do think that a lot of us are so much more willing to sacrifice because we have that nurturing spirit. That's the specialty of women. Like, we are so open, we're nurturing, we're gonna make sure you're good and things like that. And so inevitably we take a back seat sometimes. And I don't think it always happens, but when it does, like, you just have to really check that. And so it is hard, because there was, there's been situations where it's like, damn, we're vibing so well, but the goals are so big and the timing's so wrong. And so it's like, we have to take a back seat. We gotta pause. Timing. It's all about timing. And so I'm like, it's all good. I think it's more of a, when it's the right person in the right time, it's for you. But other than that, it's like, I sadly wouldn't even notice single or not, because I'm like busy. Your mind is everywhere. You're trying to figure out yourself. I'm trying to become the woman I want to be. I'm working so hard to like keep my queendom on a rotation of leveling up all the time. That's what I want. I'm like, queendom is just too cute right now. Like, I just love it. I'm like, what? Queendom is everything. And so I want a king who understands and respects the queen that I am. And so I'm working to make sure that I'm staying to be that queen and growing in that. And wherever he is or whatever he's doing, he's growing to be that king too, because I don't serve a Jesus who's crazy. So he ain't bringing nobody who.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So.
You remind me of my best friend. Oh my God, you guys are exactly alike. Shout out to Susie. Love you, girl.
I hope she's like, oh my God, girl. I love that. This is best, like, good female relationships. Man, they are incredible. I'm talking about like women power and like supporting each other and loving on each other. It is just like my favorite thing to do.
Absolutely.
Like, we have to hold each other up, ladies. We have to fix each other's crowns. We have to make sure that we have to support each other. We have to be on each other's shows. We have to call each other. We have to text each other. We have to do that, because there's so many things like fighting against that. There's so many moments of, dang, how much do I have to sacrifice? Sadly, we're hearing so much that's going on in the industry right now with sexual abuse and sexual harassment. It's like, it's so unfortunate, so sad. And I'm like, if women felt the courage to speak up and had the support of other women, I mean, it'd be so powerful. And I know we're in a space where we're doing that. I'm so honored by so many of these magazines who are like creating a space for that essence, glamour, that we are just like, this is an awesome space. And the guys that are living in this space need to be so much more excited, because you want queens like this.
Absolutely.
This is what you want.
Yes.
Don't be crazy. You don't want women who aren't trying to be as bomb as we have the potential to be.
Listen, so I feel like, everyone should, the male and the female, or whoever you decide to date, we're in 2017 nowadays. But, I feel like you guys should both balance each other out.
Sure.
So, for example, like, if you're on your boss stuff and you doing your thing and he's doing his thing, there's highs and lows in this business. She could hold you down, and vice versa. When you're low, he could he could hold you down. So it's good that you guys both are focused and have your own lives and doing your own thing to be great, So that's my take on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool.
So I want to jump into your career and you working with Mama O. Come on now, aka Oprah. This is amazing. Like, I feel like that's every host / journalism's dream.
Sometimes you're like, oh my God, that was me.
That is me.
Yeah. So I'm so, it's been a fairy tale. I have my For Your Fairytale mug with me to always.
Which we're going to get into that as
Definitely,
well too.
But that's kind of how it even this moment bred out of that moment. But I've been doing red carpets for a while now.
Which, let's get into that. Red carpets suck. I'm going to be honest with you. I did red carpet too. That's how you get your start. You know, so you get your feet wet. Right. And I was talking to a young lady, and she was telling me that she wants to get into the game and hosting and all that good stuff.
I had such a high at carpets because there's such an adrenaline. Like, you spend your day, you got makeup, hair, outfit, research, making sure you have the funnest game to play, making sure you're trying to be creative, whatever your skill is that you bring to the carpet. You come to the carpet, it's a waiting game. Who can I get? Blah, 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 blah. Do we have sound on? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, am I in the frame? Blah, blah. You get your moments with them. You have 5 interviews straight in a row, and then it's over, and you're like,
it was a rush. It's a rush for you.
It's such a rush. Okay. And I thought it was amazing. And I still do carpets here and there, but I definitely did them so much, like, where I was able to track like how I felt about it. I think there's some hard, oh my God, you're switching shoes. It's cold. You didn't wear the right outfit for the right venue, whatever. Things happen all the time. You forgot your mic. I mean, you learn, you live, you keep going. So all of that happened, but that kind of led to this big moment, which is really cool. So last year I interviewed the cast of Greenleaf, and obsessed with every single one of those people. They're incredibly beautiful. And I don't think I've ever had an experience. I mean, it's happened a few times, but this was definitely a special experience where I came to a carpet. I've never met anybody on the cast, and you leave with like half of their numbers and want to go to lunch with like all of them, which was exactly how that happened. And so Oprah came to that carpet, and I knew she was a part of the project. Obviously, it's on her network, and she's executive producer and everything, and she's also in it, but I couldn't believe she would show up. So I'm like, she's not gonna show up. So you prepare for her to show up, but you're not really sure she's gonna show up.
Right.
And so like right before, I called my brand manager, Precious, who's like also one of my best friends, and was like, hey, so Oprah might be coming to this carpet. Like, what do you think I should talk to her about? Like, how do I like make this fun? And she's like, well, she's got a cookbook out, and like, you love avocados. Like, talk about that. And I was like, what? Yeah, I did. So that was really funny. So I get this moment with Oprah, and I knew that it's such a long carpet. She's got a lot of interviews to do. I'm not going to get this full 60 minutes moment with her.
Right.
But I am going to make sure to make her laugh, which I did. And so made her laugh, talked about emojis with her. She had a ball, and then she moved on. And you're like, okay, you had your moment with Oprah. It's over. Like, it's never going to happen again.
Damn.
And then it does. And so you go into the event. She's talking to everybody. She's so warm and kind, and you're like, this is crazy. So you walk up to her, you have a moment, and you talk to her about her cookbook, and she was like, oh my God, like, I've been wanting to talk about it. I can't wait to talk about it. Avocados, blah, 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 like her favorite. And I love avocados. So we're having this hilarious conversation. And literally my friend was like, Oprah and you were having what's happening? And I was like, surely you're screaming. And so it was just like, it was a whirlwind. It was an incredible day. We move on. A couple months later, Queen Sugar comes out, and I ended up going to do that carpet as well, and saw her again. And when she saw me, she said, oh my God, I just watched your podcast. And I was like,
wow.
You're lying. But she wasn't, because she doesn't. No, I'm kidding. But she had watched my podcast with one of the cast from Greenleaf, Ty White.
Shout out to Ty. Yeah. We used to be neighbors.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I love Ty White. He's amazing. Yeah. So that was such a great interview too. And so she had watched it. She loved it. She thought it was fun. One thing led to another. And she ended up coming on my show, where I co-hosted with a few other incredible people. Shaka and Carter were such great co-hosts and good friends. And so we all had a show on an online network. And anyway, one thing led to another. She called in. She had a great time. A few months went by, and the network was looking to do an after show on the network officially. And so anyway, my name got tossed in the hat based on, there was some agent stuff. There was some friendship. There was like, people were like, oh, this girl, don't you remember her from this experience? Like, you loved her here, whatever. And so people were tossing my name to her, and the story stuck. And she was like, I really like this. I like this person. I think she could do really well. And I got a call like a week and a half before we went on air, and they're like, hey, you're hired. I was like, hey, what?
Wow. So it was no test run, no audition, nothing. Wow.
It was really, it was incredibly a God situation.
Absolutely.
Like, we've never seen anything like that. I've never seen a fairy tale like that. I didn't even know it existed. And so that's kind of how it all pulled together. And even making the show, the team from Embassy Row and my own Tonight team and when you want to collaborate with like the Mama's people, like you do it with those people, like it was just such an incredible experience. And it also, but that's how I after the second episode, I ended up getting a chance to talk with Oprah and learn from her. And she poured into me about, you know, what she liked, what she thought I could change or grow on or whatever. And in that moment, you're like, this is what the fairy tale looks like.
Yeah.
I had the thing is, I had no idea.
Quite literally.
You'd never seen it.
Right.
And so that's kind of how, like, it birthed so much more passion in me and so much more motivation for me to keep doing things even crazier than this. Because something she said to me was like, you didn't get this opportunity because it fell in your lap. Nobody handed it to you. You were prepared for it, and that's why you got it. Because I thought, I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And somebody must have, but no, like, yeah, maybe I didn't have a normal test, but like I had a lot of work to show what I was doing. Nobody handed me the job. Nobody was like, hire her because she's whatever. No, it was like I had some work to show. She had actually seen my interview skills because I interviewed her. So it was just a lot of different moments that led up to that, and you're like, wow, this is crazy. So I remember sitting in that meeting and being like, oh my God, this is what the fairy tale looks like. And like later on that summer, I ended up saying Fight for Your Fairytale to my team and to my brand manager, and I was like, hey, like, I've been fighting for this fairy tale and now I know it exists and blah blah blah. And she was like, oh, that's like our new brand. I was like, what? I'm tired. So that's kind of how that even came out. But just knowing that you can be in that moment and it can lead to other things. And now my aspirations have gotten even bigger because that was such an incredible moment. But now I'm like, wait, there's like way more moments. I'm in my 20s. Like it doesn't stop and end here. And you start admiring people who had a big moment and then they keep having big moments and they keep building and they keep building. And that's kind of how this whole year is just unfolded. And so yeah, that was it. And we went on and it was a live show. And I also didn't realize it was live. I remember calling my old news director and I was like, they're not going to make it live, right? Like, that's crazy. He was like, no, they're not going to make it live. I'm like,
live.
You got like 5 seconds delay.
Live. Like, so I remember the first day I sat in that chair, girl.
I know you were sweating, everything, huh?
I took the biggest deep breath and walked right into the fairy tale, walked right into the perfection, walked right into his glory, walked right into the moment.
Wow.
There was some nerves, but I'm telling you, I've never felt so ready for anything. That was great. I still think about that moment. I'm like, all of this makes sense. None of this is crazy. None of this you don't feel prepared for.
Wow.
You know how to read a teleprompter. You know how to make jokes. You know how to make people feel comfortable. I was interviewing 3 people at once. I mean, it was crazy, but it was perfect. And so
you are truly a walking example of creating your own reality by what you tell yourself. And I really admire that.
Thank you so much, girl.
Very much.
Oh my God.
That's huge.
First of all, I appreciate that so much. And you start realizing the power of your life is in the power of the tongue. It's in the Bible, y'all. Look it up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we know that life and death is right here in the tongue. And so every time we encourage ourselves and we think like, oh, I'm just doing the most, you better just keep doing the most then. Because the only other option is what? Negativity,
right?
Scared, fear, like what does that do? And so I thank you so much because it's something you have to work on constantly, and like every day you have to remind yourself. It doesn't have to necessarily be being Mary Jane affirmations, which people always make jokes about. They're like, you probably got affirmations all over your house. I'm like, low key, I do, but I know that might not be everybody's way of waking up. I don't think you want to see 50 post-its. I get it.
That's a lot.
But I'm a huge post-it fan. We need to work together actually. But for me, it's like you need to see it, you need to believe it, because it's hard. This is hard, guys. We chose to do, and it's not just us, the person who's a nurse, the person who's a doctor, the person who's a babysitter, the teacher, the lawyer, the student. It is hard. Everything we are choosing to do that is outside of our comfort zone, that is tapping into our gifts that we are given, it is not easy. But the reason we are given them is because we can handle them. So step into that. Step into the fact that you already have the gifts to handle it.
Right.
Once we sit there, it's like, wait, what? I'm already as dope as that. You're not even you yet. Who knows what it's gonna be when we all become I think we have to die first, honestly. I think it's like, hey God, like we're here, and he's like, oh, you did it. Like I don't know. Cause I was like, I don't know.
That's the best visual.
I really think
Welcome.
It's like, I'm here. And he's like, girl, let me tell you about what we did. You know, cause I don't see it ever ending. I see it's a constant evolving of, but to answer your question, which I hope I did in that story, but yeah, that was kind of how it all came about, and it led to even more stuff, and it's been a journey.
So what are you working on now? I know you said, the show's on a hiatus right now, so you're creating content.
Yeah.
So what type of content are you creating? I saw your little videos on your website.
Girl,
I love it.
Thank you so much. So I was in a meeting with a friend of mine a few months ago, and he was like, so this is what I really love about like what you got going on. You're very consistent, blah, 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 but I need to see more. I need to see videos, and I need to see talking, and I need to see this. I'm like, what does that take? I had no idea. And so
people keep telling me that right now. They're like,
it's literally, they put the camera on and they're like, Stace, start talking, and whatever is in me comes out. Because I try not to keep too many things in, because I need to save room for like more things that need to come in. And so I don't think that any lesson you learn you're supposed to keep. And so my big thing is collaboration and networking and being collective and growing together and learning together and loving on each other. Those are my favorite types of growing points and ways that we should all like relate with each other, right? And so my team is very aware of that. So we started OTS Tuesdays. We were just like literally in the living room, and they were like, what do you want to talk about, blah, blah, blah. And we played off the fact that, I'm One Take Stace on social media. So it was like, okay, OTS Tuesday. So we said that. And then I was like, what does that mean for us? Like, what do we do? And immediately I wrote down 4 talking points. And I think it was like ego is the enemy was one. Inspiring yourself from inside out. I can't remember the other 2 off the top of my head, but just and knowing your relationship and like having faith be better than your fear, things like that. And so we set up a camera in the house and we just started shooting it. And before you know, now I think we just shot like our 14th one. And I was like, wow. I literally, I'm so grateful to people who support you and push you further than you push yourself sometimes. Because as I'm talking now, it's like, yeah, I'm in a very confident and beautiful space right now, but you don't know where I was 2 days ago. I could have been like, oh yeah, this ain't gonna work. Let's stop it. But nobody's gonna let me do that. Like by the grace of God, you have people who do not let you quit on yourself. Like that's how we need to relate to each other. And I don't let them quit on themselves either. So it's like such a beautiful thing. So we all got together, we started shooting it, and anything that I was learning, I was talking about. So, and even right now, the power of womanhood, that should be a video. Everything that we are learning is a video, because your experience becomes the expertise. And so that's kind of how it came together. And same with the One Take Stace Media Brunch. That came out of a lot of people. I also really want to connect, and a lot of people were reaching out about like, how can I connect with you? And how can I learn some different tools and skills to be a host? And I was like, okay, I can't relate to everybody. So how do I do this in a better space that's not like texting or emailing? And so One Take Stace Media Brunch came about, and we just put that together. We did our second one just a few weeks ago. So it's been 2 within the past like 6 months, which is, God is so good. And just gathering people together. That's why I am really obsessed, honestly, with social media, because I'm so impressed with what it's done for us, like how it's built such a community. If you decide to be as positive on it as you can, and like to understand that it is a lot of highlight reels, but there's a lot to filter through to get to some really core, beautiful people. I mean, that's how I met her. Like, I mean, come on, there's just so much beauty that comes out of like us connecting in different places. So that's kind of how a lot of those projects that came out. And even now that started OTS Productions, which I haven't really mentioned too much about, but I'm gonna tell you guys, OTS Productions is coming through. So I'm like super excited about that. That's a very early 2018 goal, which we're already there. We've already produced some stuff, but I'm kind of waiting to put everything out the right time. But OTS Productions and producing my own content and producing a lot of, I'm all about inspiration and entertainment, motivation, inspiration, entertainment. That's me. And a lot of fun, because I like to laugh. And so, yeah, like, starting those projects, I'm more equipped and ready to get into acting. So definitely excited for that. Writing a book, writing the For Your Fairytale book. I know, God is good. I'm just trying to like finish it, y'all, because it's like, what is this? What? As you're pulling up so much stuff to write something like that. And so been working on that. And yeah, just keep building the brand and keep building Fight For Your Fairytale, and keep building One Take Stace. And because those are not platforms, even though they seem like they're quote unquote about me in some cases, like they're so not. Like I'll be at the house like, oh, we need to do this, blah, blah. They be like, Stace, like, okay, we can't do it. Why not? People need to know. It's like, chill. So it's been crazy, and building an incredible team around me. I have about.
That's impressive.
It is probably the smartest thing I did this year, honestly, because my brand manager was my friend, and then was my stylist, and then started helping managing, and now like understands the brand like and loves the brand the way I do.
That's so important.
And then my videographer and we met through another friend on another project, and now he's like my right hand and my assistant, and like people who just came together to be like, I want to make magic with you. One of my photographers, I went to college with him. Like it's been really God ordained. I'm so excited about it. So together, we're gonna create as many things as we want to, because that is kind of the way we talk with each other. Like we try to just be as crazy as possible. I'm trying to produce a holiday special coming soon, so I'm excited, but I'm like not saying too much because we're trying to figure out dates and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just just being as crazy as possible and putting out stuff that's like my content and putting out what I want to see in the world. You know, I found this on Instagram where you say, you know, if you want to see something created, and I was like, fine, okay, you know, dang, like I will, you know, it's like chill. Like,
I've seen that every day for the past week. Okay,
I get it. Okay, right. God, I get. Okay,
right.
people,
right.
you know. So that really hit my heart around the summer, and after the show, went off. I was like, dude, like I have to keep doing what I say I'm gonna do. Mm-hmm. So that's how all the crazy really came out of me, and I'm so excited because this girl is so much different than she. Ooh, I'm like, business plan, trademark. That wasn't what I was talking about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I want to keep developing this, and yeah, more to come. Everything is usually on StacyIke.com as well as One Take Stace on Instagram and Twitter and everything. But and YouTube, we're developing that as well. But I keep it all open because I'm always open for feedback and that kind of stuff. So yeah, all the zhuzh comes on StacyIke.com.
Yes, I love it.
Amazing,
well,
amazing.
We have to wrap.
We do.
Another show's coming in, but thank you so much for blessing us.
Yes,
man,
so
your
much.
energy is amazing.
Oh, man.
You're just gonna go, man. You're gonna, man. God got some more good things in store for you. I feel it. I know it.
Girl.
So thank you so much.
Thank you guys. This was amazing.
Thank you.
Seriously, shout out to you ladies.
All love.
It's a wrap.
This guy's like.